came down with cancer 5 or 6 years ago initially, and took chemo, did radiation, and then roughly a year ago it came back. And it sounded like a year to year and a half I might have at that point. And so then I decided to figure out, well, how do I go through this dying process? What's the best way to go through this dying process? I felt that I needed to have some creativity in doing it. Nobody tells you how. People tell you how to play baseball. People tell you how to get a job when you get out of college sometimes, but no one tells you how to die and how to die well and to adjust to it. And it's a continuum of life. It's
absolutely
it's just like anything else, even though it's taboo and it's neglected. So that's the ground level that I started with, the foundation of how best should I approach this.
Well, people are very afraid of hospice, and you see individuals, and just from my experience, this was a part of healthcare that even the healthcare professionals really, as you said, shy away from. So I've been here about 5 years now, and it's been a tremendous revelation. But how do you take something with that image?
Well, it's a very taboo area.
Yeah.
Because you could actually upset people in your approach, because it has religious implications and ritual implications and socioeconomic and family implications. My sister cried for days when I came here because she felt, what am I going to tell my friends? I have to tell my friends I institutionalized my brother. He got cancer, and I institutionalized the guy. How horrible is that? But people feel that way.
Right.
My family, very middle class family. You take care of your own.
Absolutely.
You got somebody sick, you set up the hospital bed in the living room, and you give them lousy food, and you forget to give them their meds. But that's why I came to the conclusion is that I would have a better experience if I did everything properly with the proper professionals. And you guys at Hospice are the proper professionals for everything I meant: my nutritional needs, my medical needs, my emotional needs to a certain degree, and you have a referral system for things that you don't have. Then my 20 family members who can come down here, they can come and visit me, which is a twofer. They get to visit me, so they're more relaxed. Plus, it's very uplifting to me to have them come over. I can lay on the side, because of where my cancer is, I can't lay on my back, but I can lay on my side on my bed, and I pulled up the table. They pull up the table. It's like we're having a little get-together at our kitchen table. And I was going to invite you to sit there. It's great. So we sit around there like it's a kitchen table. We visit. If I have some issue, I have the aide or the nurse who will come in and clean it up or fix it up. And then we're back to visiting. And then it allows me also to have my friends come down without them being fearful that all of a sudden they have to become Florence Nightingale for 2 days.
Right.
They don't. They're here. They're able to spend the night. You offer 24/7 access. The ability for them to spend the night. We're able to get guest meals to bring them in. So we're able to just have this total immersion in me, and everybody has different emotional needs. But I'm a touchy-feely guy, so we can immerse myself in the process I'm going through and what their feelings are and my feelings, and just have this fantastic "I love your brother" type time. With all my friends.
Well, it was interesting because I think you said earlier, and you and I very much grew up actually in the same place,
right,
same time frame, so culturally the same. And we're taught we don't talk about death. We don't talk about anything related to that.
Right.
And I thought that was just, I think, very important. I think the way you described it, you bring the hospital bed into the house, and then it's a nightmare for everybody going forward.
Everyone involved, and there's no disrespect to all those families. They mean well, but they don't know how to do it. And I had that experience happen early on, and that's when I actually checked in here because I wasn't doing so well.
Right.
And I was actually showing signs like I might even pass around New Year's. And Hospice, you all came out, you evaluated me. They said, you're really suffering. We got to get you in and stabilized. And something, at least with me, is it's a gradual thing, so you don't realize how much you're deteriorating because it's a little bit each day, a little bit each day, a little bit each day. And I had really deteriorated. I got checked in here, horrible shape, and in a week and a half to 2 weeks, you guys got me back going. You gave me the proper medications that I needed for my issues. Well, you gave me the proper medication. You gave me the proper nutrition. I started eating again because you gave me some pills that helped me eat and that helped me digest my food. And it's just my girlfriend and I were just panicking. We're running around the house panicking.
You and I very much are having a discussion that, as family members, we would have about the patient. But you were able to be the patient and yet have this perspective. When you're in the situation like you were talking about, where sometimes you don't feel well, talk about it being in that position when you are back in that first person position. How meaningful is that to have that layer? I guess
it's invaluable. It's invaluable, and that's why that's why I wanted to raise money for the center. That's why I'm such an advocate of the center and looking for a societal paradigm shift. Not like I'm Mahatma Gandhi or something, and I'm going to be able to accentuate that. But it's a bad, so someone's dying, so you can say it's good or bad. You can put a judgment. It is what it is. Someone's dying. Everyone's going to die, and you want to die the best that you can in each of those areas, physically, emotionally, and my mission, it's just the way I'm wired. I wanted to figure that out. I'm a student of psychology, and I wanted to figure out the best way to approach it. And yes, the team is what does it. The hospice team, like I said, providing those physical, emotional, some spiritual, like you said, the amenities here, meaning of life, purpose of life, and your legacy, which I didn't understand in the beginning. But your meaning of life is really the people in your life and having the best time you can in the moment with those people. So she talked about meaning of life and how I could have the best meaning of life in my situation, which the hospice center brings that to me because of all the facilities they have. And then purpose of life. You still have to have a purpose. The hospice center, coincidentally for me, brought me some purpose because I really enjoyed the fundraising part. You also have to work on yourself, from a psychological standpoint. It's an adjustment, a process that you have to go through, and it's an active process. It's just not going to happen to you. Every day I'm working on myself, thinking about it and how to be in the moment. You have to take away the stigma of it, and it's more than just being able to talk about it. And it's a lofty goal, but you got to take away the stigma and be able to talk to families about it, and everyone to have an open mind, a blank slate of, okay, how are we going to approach this?
Okay.
Here's Rick. How best should we approach this with Rick? He's dying. He's terminally ill. How is he going to be happiest as he exits? And now, of course, I'm participating in it. And then you have to take everything off the table and say, okay, yeah, I'll go to hospice and be there potentially for months because it's the best setting for me to be in, given my physical state. And get rid of all of those social norms where my sister's crying in the living room because she institutionalized her brother. That would keep me from doing really what's best for me to die well.
And some people have very good opportunities, but you've done both now. So
yeah, I did one. Yeah, so 4 or 5 years ago, I went through the chemo and I went through the radiation. Supposedly I was cured, but obviously I wasn't. And then I got it again. And no one knows how long you're going to live, but based on the statistics, by doing the therapy, my best case was I was going to live another 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. But I wouldn't feel long. And that's out of maybe a living, a total of 1.5 years to 2 years. But I wouldn't feel well. And I chose, I want to feel well. I want to have a good, high quality life once again, die well, feel good.
Well, some people would say 2 years, but that's 2 years.
Yeah, I know, people would, and they would die. There's people out there, according to my doctor, that would die for 15 minutes. They don't want, they're fearful, they want to live, they want to cling on to life. They're not detached. And you have to detach yourself from life in order for this to be a good experience or a better experience. Because if you're attached to it, if you're grabbing on to life, saying, oh, I can't die, I don't want to die, it's a twofer. You're going to die, okay? They told you you're going to freaking die. And now you're making it horrible because you're so fearful of dying. So, let's go out kicking and screaming rather than having a good time. It's
And are you having a good time?
Yeah, so let's have a good time. We're dying, let's have a good time. Why make it worse by kicking and screaming, not being detached, and not embracing it. And you have to embrace it. It's a part of life that you're just going to go through and live in the moment. And I have my moments. Everyone does, but that's the strategy. And life is constant adjustment.
So best moment so far since you've been here. Do you have anything that ranks high on the moment list?
Because I just talked to the aide today about it. There's a good. Get a moment. Give me a second.
It's all right.
There's a woman right there that she doesn't have anyone, and the aide comes in and reads to her and feeds her and sits with her, and it is so precious and sweet that she does that, because her job description is right, it's checklist, right? And if she checks all those off, you're going to give her a paycheck and she's fine. But no, she sat down there multiple times when I'm walking by, reading to this woman, talking to her, and she feeds her, and it is so precious. She does not have to do that. Very touching moment.
Well, very inspiring moment. I mean, you're an
and that's the person you hired.
Absolutely.
So I was interested in your process, your hiring process, because I haven't gotten a clunker yet. Everyone has been good in their own way. Everyone has a different personality, but it's just been the staff. I guess that's your question. Impactful. Staff's very impactful in a lot of ways that aren't on their job description.
That's a tremendous story, and I can, from a hiring process, we do this behavioral interviewing.
Yeah.
And our lives, getting to be here right now with somebody like you who's teaching me how to do my job better and how to impact my industry better. I mean, I don't think there's anything better than a moment like this, and then somebody who can talk about stuff and talk about it in a way that, I mean, it's real. You're real, and
this is the place for me to be, because he connected the dots immediately. It was 100% the right place for me to be, and made the difference between being 50% happy and 100% happy, and just show how there's an alternative way to passing through this life, and nobody knows.
But I think this example, I mean, we're putting it in many ways into the physician's hands, but you've taken control of your life.
Yeah.
And you're driving the process.
Right.
And I mean, that's my personal takeaway is
right.
Watching you're in charge.
Yeah. Right.
And I think,
but at some point you gotta let go, you're in charge to a point, right? Well, and I was saying, face, solve, adjust. So you have to face the issue, which is being in the moment, and what is the issue? I'm dying. Solve. What's the best solution? It's going to hospice. It's getting a therapist, and then adjusting, instituting it. You're actually going to the hospice and getting the therapist, and then actively participating in it. So it's face, solve, adjust.
I know you adjust on a daily basis, but
well, everyone has to, or else you get stuck and then you're unhappy.